Our whole idea is anytime we're in this room, we're trying to get something done. We're trying to produce. We're trying to get something accomplished in here. And so as you come in here, this is where we meet as a staff for staff meetings. It's kind of like a president's table, I guess. You got the chairs around it. Everybody's got their assigned seat, and then we've got some seats over this way. The process today is a lot of times, you hear the word fax machine. Well, I would imagine we didn't get, maybe we got 1 or 2 faxes. Taylor, how many faxes did we actually get today?
4.
4?
Yeah.
So most of these guys are now taking a picture and sending it on their phone, or they're emailing it in. But we still have the handy dandy fax machine down the road there. But in here in the production room, we get the signed NLI, the signed financial aid agreement. Danielle from our compliance office, she then verifies that the signatures are correct, the timestamp, everything that needs to be on to make it a valid NLI is done, and then we can release it to the general public and to the media. So until we get that, we can't do anything with it. We're not allowed to talk about these guys. So there's still potentially, as you guys saw down there's 22 names on that board right now. We're still hoping we could sign up to 3 more. It'll probably end up being a couple more that we hope will come in, and then we'll be able to get those verified and then announced. But in here is where we kind of do that. This side over here is what we would call our recruiting wall. So you can see this is a calendar, from the last couple of weeks of when the coaches were out. Then we've kind of got our depth chart, so to speak, of the recruiting class built over here by Taylor. And I'll let him talk a little bit about this wall. And what
You basically have a couple different times throughout December and January that we are live with these guys. We're allowed to go see them in their homes. We have to be as efficient as possible with our times. And so this is a little bit of an example of what we did in January through the last 2.5 weeks up until today, where we sent Coach Harsin, where the other coaches were going to see guys. There was obviously a lot more names up on this board at one point, but things are always changing. Might have had a coach going to see a guy up in Washington, but things change and he's no longer going there. So this helps us be organized. It all starts with Coach Harsin, making sure he gets in the homes of all the guys that we plan to have committed to us, and then getting each one of those position or area coaches with him to also see a lot of these guys. So most of these names up here are the guys that committed to us today. And then up top, above, you can see where we had guys and when they visited us this year. So you have all these guys throughout the year came and on an official visit to us, and that was our chance to show off our product here, and that builds our class. There was more guys that didn't end up coming to us, but our percentage of the total amount of guys that came versus the guys that signed with us is very high. So we didn't overdo it. We didn't bring in a ton of guys like that. But this is just a key to organization for us right here, getting it all down and making sure we can track it on a daily basis. And then you can see our class kind of built over here. The last couple pieces were put into the puzzle, but this is it. This is how we look at it right here. Obviously by position, this is how we see guys matched up. No particular order. This is not a depth chart, but this is what we built today. So it's very big for us to see this visually and then be able to throw it in with the current depth chart that we have. We have other things in this room, our current depth chart, our projected recruitings, our projected depth charts 2 years down the line that we utilize as well. But you can kind of see this, and then again, like Brad said, hopefully we'll finish up the last piece of the puzzle, couple pieces here soon. So that's that. Any questions on any of this process?
So this room's only used for recruiting. This isn't where the staff has.
This is everything. This is our staff room. So we have staff meetings in here daily. We talk about schedules. So Coach Hars, Brian Wilkinson, Brad Larondo, they plan out our schedule 6 months in advance so that coaches in here have an idea of what our camps in June are already looking like. What our schedule in May looks like, and that's on that board over there behind you. Underneath the drop down is our current depth chart that throughout the season is always changing. We throw our recruiting board up there. Names are always changing. The board is always changing. So that's there. And